This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado introducing Love Ignites Peace. They're helping you put love into action, creating peace in your life. I am joined here with the co-founders, Ashlyn and Paige. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. It's absolutely great to be with you and the audience today.
Pleasure to be
Excellent.
here.
Let's start off, first of all, with Ashlyn. Ashlyn, you believe in the power of changing the world through business, really with experience in both the for-profit and nonprofit sectors. You have seen the opportunity to create positive impact in both of those worlds. Share with us, first of all, how the two of you met and how this vision of love was a great fit for you.
Well, how we met is one of my all-time favorite stories because it's how I was born. So this is actually my mother. Paige is my mom. And so we joke about 29 years ago, I came into this world and we've been best friends and ever since. So that is our story in how we know each other. But not only that, we have worked very hard at our relationship. So not only are we mother-daughter, but we're best friends. We're now business partners, and we are very, very grateful for the presence of each other in our lives. Yeah, so love and its presence in the world is the energy that builds all things good. But to understand how we got to this concept of love being an action that creates peace in your life and the world, it really does come from our joint stories over the last 16 years. So when I was younger, I had an adverse medical reaction that led us down a bit of a different path. We were honestly your typical family, and then all of a sudden this medical issue took us on a different journey. And so one thing leads to the next. For 1 second, we're in homeopathics, and then the next, we're expanding some of our spiritual views. And concurrently, my mom was having her own journey with that. She discovered she was gluten intolerant, and she describes that as the day she got her life back. And so we both had some of these mirrored journeys of health issues that then led to development in every area of our lives. Now, during the same period of time, she had this amazing moment where the words love ignites peace dropped into her mind, and she describes it as like
I
a
want to
lightning
hear
bolt from
that.
the sky.
That's the story I want to hear. I mean, Paige, life's collection of experience really has taught you that it is not the experience that matters, but what we learn about ourselves from our experiences. Share with me how an experience back in 2008, really out of thin air, as you say, the words love ignites peace etched themselves in your mind. How did this get started?
Well, I refer to it as a mystical experience because I don't have anything to explain it other than literally I was sitting on the deck of our Colorado home reading a novel, and I looked up from the novel, and the words love ignites peace were tattooed in my conscious mind. And I thought, what in the world is this? So I actually had to like go take a walk. My body had to physically process this. I came back, I told my children and my husband, I've had this weird experience today. And then from that moment on, it's really been such an amazing journey of, okay, I feel like there's a reason I was given these words, why they were branded in my brain. So the question became, what am I to do with them? And the answer that finally came to me was, you need to learn how to live them, Paige. So through self-discovery and a journey of self-awareness, I began digging into the experiences of my life to really determine how I was living in this idea of love and how I was living in this idea of what I call not love.
I mean, we're talking about a typical day on your back deck in Colorado, and
Yeah.
boom, you're like probably a little bit shocked by, like you said, what's going on here. Paige, you described your philosophy as love ignites peace. Can you kind of explain the core premise that love is a lifestyle and not just a feeling?
100%. Love, I know it's kind of like an elephant in the room. Who wants to talk about love? But we're here to make love an exciting topic once again. Love is the energy. It is a free energy source that once we understand what love truly is, and one of the ways, Ashlyn mentioned it earlier, that we have attempted to define love is love creates goodness. Love creates positivity. Love builds every human up to their potential. And so when we live the words love ignites peace, what we're doing is we're igniting that love is an action, that love is a free energy source that is innately in each and every one of us, so that what can be the end result of that is peace. But there's actually more end results of that, right? You might have joy, you might have freedom, creativity, the passion, purpose that dictates your life. Really, when you live the essence of love, what you do is you live in a world where you are able to live your fullest potential.
I mean, Ashlyn, let me ask you this, Ashlyn. The love, this love is a lifestyle. I mean, it can lead to peace, joy, authenticity, and freedom. Would you say this is more needed today than ever before?
That's a very good question. I briefly would like to finish landing the plane on what my mom does discussing here
Sure.
with it being a lifestyle, which is we talk about it being your daily and your deeper frequency of love. So through Love Ignites Peace as a lifestyle and this journey that I was saying that we both went on concurrently, it was about learning how to put love into action in our own lives. And you do this in a daily way by going for the walk, putting a song on that raises your frequency, connecting with someone that you care about, using an essential oil that raises your vibration. You do this in 1,000 different ways that really raises your vibration in a daily way. But then the deeper way is part of this journey, which is doing that soul work. We talk about your soul suitcase. So through something that we've done a lot of work around spiritual energy work, which we offer through Love Ignites Peace. We have our subconscious programming work. All of these deeper, deeper ways that help you really start to excavate the things that are not serving you, living as this frequency of love that creates all things good in your life, your community, and ultimately the world. To answer your question, is it needed now more than ever before? I wasn't around before, so I don't know in the past what things were like, but I would absolutely say it's very needed in today's day and age. I think that we are not only needing it, but I think that so many people are ready for it. I think you are seeing, I know we're seeing an awakening around us. We have so many people that are ready for these tools. They're seeking, they're searching, they're opening.
Well, I have been around for some time, longer than yourself probably. And I can tell you, when I seen your story, I said, the world needs this today. I mean, the world needs this today. I've seen a lot of changes going on. Paige, you really offer a variety of services. I mean, from spiritual energy work, biofeedback assessments, to yoga sessions, even acupuncture. How do these different modalities really work together to help a person achieve subconscious transformation? And can you kind of touch on what that means?
Well, we are a product of our subconscious mind, our day-to-day actions that are programmed into our life. So, for example, it's kind of like driving a car. You don't drive your car necessarily from your conscious mind. You drive your car from your subconscious mind. And that same thing happens with how we interact in the world. We interact from our subconscious mind. And so all of the modalities that we offer really work with a person, and Ashlyn mentioned this, at the soul level. Because the truth of your soul is that you are unconditional love. That is the truth of who you are. It's just how do you peel back the layers to get to that, so that when you go out into the world, your relationship with yourself is solid, and then always determines your relationship with everybody else that you meet. So, for example, in my book, Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution, that came out in May, and the companion journal, it takes people through a process to peel back these layers of self awareness that empowers them to choose love as an action, but also helps them understand why that is a challenge for them at times. And when we start looking at love as an action, as the lens that guides our communication, our interaction, our daily decisions, that changes how we perceive ourselves in the world.
Ashlyn, you guys touched on earlier, your approach is based on the idea that everything is energy. Are you able to translate that concept into practical, actionable steps for your clients? Is that really the goal?
Absolutely. And it goes to what I was saying earlier about your daily frequency and your deeper frequency. You come to us and we are going to give you 15 actionable ways to move forward in your daily and your deeper freak. We are the creators of our lives, whether it is from that subconscious level or from our conscious daily choices. And we can empower you, and we do work to empower every single one of our clients with the tools, the resources to really create that deeper transformation and raise that vibration.
So real steps. We're talking powerful steps, not just in theory. Paige, my kids recently have been telling me they are picking up an energy from the current world around them, almost like a vibration. Are you able to help people who feel stuck in their current vibration to take the first step towards positive change?
1,000,000%. Whether it is you read my book and do the companion journal, whether it is you listen to our podcasts, whether it is you sign up for a spiritual energy work session, a subconscious transformation session, all of those are steps toward taking that journey to get unstuck and to move forward in such a positive way in your own life.
Ashlyn, you help people get their freak on, and that's with a Q, spelled with a Q. What does it mean to change our vibration to love? Can you kind of give us an example of the practices you would use to facilitate this?
Yeah, so that is a great question. And we keep referencing the book Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution. And in this book, we have 6 actionable steps called Love 6 Actions. I like to make an acronym out of them called UTFAR. If you follow them, you will go far. They're understand, discern, allow, forgive, accept, and respect. And so, even following those 6 progressive steps can help you navigate, for example, today's political climate. Imagine if we opened our Instagrams and we looked at something and instead going straight to judgment, we started with step 1, understand. Where could this be coming from? What story? What's their background? Why might they have this opinion? And then we discern, right? What is the truth in here for me? What do I need to learn here? We allow them to have our experience. Why do we feel like we need to be in everyone's faces with our opinions? And then we forgive if there's something that needs to be forgiven. You follow each of these steps, and ultimately it leads to a greater experience of peace in your life, but then it also leads to this action of love by allowing somebody to have their own experience in the world.
Definitely love in action. We're talking about everyone has an opinion today. You're basically looking at everybody and saying, what does this mean? Which is very important. Paige, so you're basically introducing this brand new concept of 6 conflict styles as unconscious patterns used to feel safe. Can you kind of elaborate on how these patterns, or blueprints, if you will, are formed and why it's important to recognize our own?
Well, these blueprints are formed from when you're a small child. And some people even say they come in before birth. But in every family situation, in every situation when you go out into the world as a young person, as a young child, you encounter situations that have made you feel unsafe in some way, shape, or form. So these conflict styles are the patterns a person adopts in order to feel safe in situations that they wouldn't ordinarily feel safe in. And I don't just mean like physically unsafe. We all have moments where you're in school and the teacher makes a comment and all of a sudden you feel like a dummy. And that is just part of this whole process of unfolding of how our personality patterns develop. What we know in the world is that conflict just creates more conflict. And I would say usually a person exhibits 3 of the 6 conflict styles. Once you learn what your own conflict style is, it's that process of peeling back that self-awareness. What are the beliefs I'm holding about myself? What are the subconscious programs that are causing me to react this way in a situation that doesn't feel fully safe to me? Taking that one step further, when you understand the conflict styles of the people that you're in relationship with, then you have a greater chance of being able to respond to that person in a way that negates the conflict.
I think anybody could use these techniques. I could use them with my own children. It sounds like just being able to talk to your siblings, talk to your friends. I mean, I'd like to actually touch on a few of these. We can't get into all of them, but Ashlyn, the Conquer Blueprint. I mean, it's defined by a fierce drive to assert control and overcome challenges. What is the key to channeling these superpowers like determination and confidence while not falling into the shadow side of maybe aggression and domination?
That's an excellent question. And we offer through our course that's actually coming out very soon on these different strategies to help you basically get into your body and be grounded. So one of the methods we use is called the bag method. So you got this in the bag, right? You can be in the superpower side of things if you follow these three things, which is get in your body, tighten your abdomen to really help get in your body, and then feel your feet on the ground to be grounded. So body, abdomen, grounding. This helps you stay in a place of centeredness where your superpower of these blueprints can really come through. It is when we are typically ungrounded, triggered, for lack of a better word, right, in conflict, that all of a sudden these shadows can show up more. So that's a kind of a blanketed answer for all six of the patterns. Now, within the specific conqueror blueprint, there are mechanisms that are really important in relationship with a conqueror. For example, trust and honesty. So a conqueror needs to feel the person they're in relationship is also energetically showing up and being honest with them.
I mean, Paige, both the connect and give blueprints, I mean, they're defined by emotional attunement and really focus on others. What is the difference between these two styles, and what unique challenges does each one face, would you say?
Well, we're going to go back to this idea of energy that we talked about just a while ago in order to answer that specific question. So, in the Connect blueprint, there is an energy flow when you communicate. So, the Connect blueprint, the energy flow is that you want the energy to go and connect heart to heart with the person you're communicating with and come back. So just imagine that energy is like a figure eight. You want to connect. You need that connection. In the give blueprint, you have the same energy flow, except as a give pattern, your energy is going out not to connect with that other person, but to help that other person. Whether that in the shadow part of that might be to rescue, to save. So in a give personality in their superpower, the superpower is you can reach out to help a person, but you don't sacrifice your own needs in the process, and you don't rescue someone who isn't asking to be helped.
Ashlyn, overall, understanding these styles really deepens communication, empathy, and connection. I mean, I know this is brand new, but what has been some of the feedback, or is this so new that you don't have as much feedback as you'd want to, or what do you hope the feedback's going to be, I should say?
Oh, it's been incredible. So I actually gave a talk last week at a corporate retreat, specifically in regards to communicating within these six conflict styles in the workplace. And I have had multiple people reach out to me, seeing how not only does it play in their working relationships, but their at-home life. In fact, I had a woman come up to me and go, "I understand my marriage now." Because at the end of the day, she was what we're calling the conqueror, and the anchor is her husband, which means she's got a lot of energy, and the anchor goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, that's too much for me." So they have to find a different way to communicate so that it doesn't escalate in conflict, and they can both be understood, heard, loved, and seen. So I mean, truly, the feedback we've gotten on these has given me chills. I am so, so, so excited to bring this to the world.
I would like to just quickly jump in and tell another quick story about this. Ashlyn and I, as mother-daughter, we're set up to sometimes trigger each other because of just that familial relationship. And what we have discovered is learning these conflict styles has really changed our ability to work with each other. Ashlyn's conflict styles are completely different than mine. So once we had that understanding, we have been able to negotiate conflict, whether it's personal or in business, in so much of a less stressful, easy way that really kind of filters back through Love Six actions.
And I'd like to say that really what we're doing here is we're putting love into action. When you can understand and make a choice to love someone the way that they need to be
Mm.
loved, to honor their patterns, to honor their needs, and the same with yourself, it's love in action.
Excellent. Excellent way to put that. I mean, I wish we had the time to go into all of these, but Paige, like you say, most people tend to adopt three of them as a way to feel safe. So that's definitely exciting. Your book and journal obviously are key resources. What is the relationship between the two, and how do they work in tandem, kind of help a person on their journey?
Well, the book takes you through the process of how you would really begin a journey of self-discovery. It awakens you to your inner experience. And what I think differentiates the book and the journal in this from other books that have talked about the idea that your inner world creates your external experience is that this book really shows you, along with the journal in particular, it takes you through a process of how you actually identify what is happening in your own inner world. What is the information you need to know about yourself that is creating this external reality, that is creating the relationship that you have with yourself, that is creating the relationship that you have with others. And sometimes that relationship is loving, and sometimes that relationship is just not so great. So it is the process. It truly shows people and takes them through the process of identifying their inner information.
And I'll make it
Excellent.
really short and simple to the point. On the book, it says it's an actionable guide to igniting healthy and healed relationships, especially the one with yourself. And that is also exactly what the six
Excellent.
conflict styles are
Before
doing as well.
before we let you guys go, I want you both to leave us with some hope and advice at a
Mm.
time in our world when I think everybody wants to hear that. We will start with Ashlyn. If you have somebody out there who basically doesn't feel like their vibration is where it should be, they understand that they want to connect more with their loved ones, with people around them, even at work, what would you tell them?
I would recommend they practice power in the pause. We so often get ourselves down a complete and total spiral by not taking that beat after something triggers us. Whether we read something from someone that's triggering, whether someone says something that's triggering, taking that moment to pause, take a few breaths to reset and recognize that we are in control of our minds are not in control of us, to then decide how we're going to go forward. Practice that bag method, get in your body before you then engage or respond. I think will really help people find a sense of peace, raise their vibration, and stop the spiral.
Excellent. Paige, leave us with a good word.
Well, I would like everyone to just take a minute and imagine, maybe even close your eyes for a second. But I want you to imagine a world where we are all living the truth in the statement, love ignites peace. What can we create individually and as a collective human community when we adopt the mantra, love ignites peace, as the guiding North Star that really determines how we interact with each other and ourselves?
What a great vision. What a great vision you're both bringing to the public out there. I'm very glad to bring it out here to my audience as well. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can really find the book and the journal for sale right there on Amazon. I mean, their website, their podcasts are great resources to learn everything from relationships to money, diet, spiritual exploration. I mean, even to your own life's purpose. Obviously, brand new right now is the six conflict language course, basically, that we touch on, that's going to be available. Once again, that is Love Ignites Peace, where love is more than a feeling. It's a lifestyle filled with everyday actions, creating peace, joy, authenticity, and freedom for everyone. You are the ignition. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.